Stuart, I know it's been a busy week or so. Maybe you'd like to start by telling us a little bit about what happened last Wednesday and what that news means for Newport Grand Dragons.
Yeah, very busy week, triggered by the important announcement last Wednesday when the union went public with their intentions to, in effect, take over the Dragons and all that entails. So, Dragon supporters should be excited by that. It's an exciting new chapter that's made possible by that announcement, but we're not there yet. It's been a very long process getting to that point. I think we all recognise that there's still an important stage ahead, which is a shareholders vote, Newport RFC shareholders, that is. So all the focus now is on making sure that through the busy week you've mentioned and multiple meetings and announcements that we get all the information out there so that's an informed decision.
You've mentioned with shareholders, I know we'll touch on that later, but obviously since last Wednesday you've had a Q&A with Dragon supporters last week and also the match, of course, against Ulster on Friday night. What have supporters been saying to you about the news?
I think it's, certainly on the Dragon side, it's been very well received. The announcement came on the back of the Henson and Kirchner signings as well, so I think it's been a very challenging period if you're a Dragon supporter the last season or two, especially with all the uncertainty about the quest for investment. But I think the union-based solution has given real hope as to what might come, not just in terms of the handing over of the reins to a union that has great hopes and aspirations for the region, but also the injection into the facility. We talk already of a new pitch, much needed new pitch, and improving the facilities at large. And I think that's all very positive for the venue and for professional rugby in Gwent.
Obviously you've had quite a few late nights in the last week, and this morning was an early morning for you meeting Dragon sponsors. What did they have to say? There's just tremendous interest for what we're trying to do, an awful lot of support for it as well, but ultimately as well a recognition that given the proposal the asset is going to change hands, and there's acknowledgement as well that that's got implications for those that are overtly Newport supporters, I suppose, and what that means for the club going forward. So I think the whole series of meetings that we're having at the moment, since the press announcement, I've met with Dragon supporters, met with Newport supporters, met with the sponsors this morning, all key stakeholders in this whole issue. Now we know that the proposed WRU takeover is still subject to ratification from the Newport RFC shareholders. What exactly does that mean?
Well, that's a pointer towards the relationship between the companies within the group and the respective boards, I suppose, and indeed the articles of association of Newport Rugby Club. So were it just a transfer of the Dragons share, I suppose, from Dragons Rugby as we know it to the union, that would be fairly straightforward. But because the deal involves the sale of land, the asset sits with Newport RFC, and for that particular thing to go ahead, the shareholders are required to vote on it. So that's why we're seeing a situation where, despite a board being supportive or indeed deciding upon the best way forward, it still sits with the shareholders to agree to the sale of the land that's associated with the deal. So that'll happen in a month or so's time, and we'll be issuing a lot more information to shareholders through various channels ahead of that event to make sure that they're having all the information they need to make whatever decision they see fit.